everyone, this is myubae and welcome to my channel. Today I'm hosting my first group collab where I asked my friends to recommend video games for beginners. Let's roll!
Hey guys, UpperNimbus here. So myubae, thank you so much for inviting me on this collaboration of yours where we're going to be talking about video games that we believe are perfect for beginners playing video games in the year 2024. And of course, my choice is none other than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. So Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is definitely a game that is perfect for beginners of video games. This is a fantastic family-oriented game that is suitable for people of all ages across the board. I've always been a massive fan of the Mario Kart games, ever since I played Mario Kart 64 all the way up to where we are now with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So why do I think that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe would make a really good beginner game for someone in 2024? Well, first of all, the game has sold absolute gangbusters on the Switch. It is a great system for people who've got family and kids, and for people who might be a bit intimidated from really hardcore games that might be found on both the Xbox and the PlayStation. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has some really neat features for people who are new to video games and might be a little bit handicapped or have struggles playing. So the couple of features I'm talking about are in fact the auto acceleration and the auto steering. These are some great mechanics for people who have not played racing games before and are new to the Mario Kart games. But of course, you don't have to use those features. The game is still fairly easy to play and accessible without using those features. Most courses in the game are fairly easy, especially if you play on 50cc, which is the easiest mode, and there is a huge cast of characters to choose from. There is so much diversity, from male characters to female characters, and also some unique characters in between. There's iconic favorites obviously such as Mario himself, Bowser, Princess Peach, Luigi, Yoshi, etc. The list goes on. I believe whether it's the year 2024 or any other year beyond, I truly believe that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will always be a perfect starter game for anyone who wants to get into video games. So pick up a Joy-Con, sit down with your best buddy, and enjoy the ride. So there you have it everybody, that was my choice for a beginner game in 2024. myubae, thank you so much for inviting me on this collaboration of yours, and as always, I look forward to everybody else's choice within this video. So until the next time everybody, UpperNimbus is signing off.
Are you a fan of Pokemon or games with a deep story with tons of likable characters? Have you ever wondered how difficult it is to be a Japanese high school student? Then look no further to the Persona series. Personas 3, 4, and 5 are available on all current platforms, as well as the recently released Persona 3 Reload available for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Now, it was really hard for me to recommend a specific entry in the series, as they're all great in their own special ways, but for someone's first Persona game, I would probably recommend Persona 5 Royal as it's the most beginner-friendly. In Personas 3, 4, and 5, you play as a high school transfer student living out your typical high school life. But suddenly, a new story arises from the mysteries of the Dark Hour in Persona 3, to a murder mystery in Persona 4, and to the fight to attain freedom in Persona 5. You wield a manifestation of your own inner thoughts known as a persona as you and your friends fight your way through numerous dungeons all throughout the game. Battles are turn-based, similar to Pokemon and other RPGs, but expect them to be very fast-paced and fluid. High school life is tough, and knowing how to manage time is a key essential in this game. You'll spend several hours doing part-time jobs, studying for tests, as well as developing social links or confidants, which are the bonds that you form with your friends necessary to develop stronger personas. Each entry takes about 70 to 100 hours to complete. You'll get more than your money's worth when you play these amazing RPGs.
Hello everyone, Elite Collector here, and a huge thanks to myubae for inviting me for this collaboration for your best video game for beginners. And my choice is going to be Kalimba. Now, Kalimba is not a very well-known game, but when I was in the process of trying to find a video game that me and my wife could play, it took me the longest time to find the perfect game. But when I found Kalimba, I knew that this was the one. It was the perfect game for beginners. Kalimba is one of those games that's easy to learn but hard to master. It is a puzzle platformer game where you control 2 totems of different colors, and you have to work through these very inventive and unique level designs where you have to swap totem colors, jump, reverse gravity, and along the way you also have to be collecting these coins, these white, I'm gonna call them coins, they're like white little icons, but you are rated at the end of the level by how many coins you collect and how many times you die. And I will tell you, when you first start off with this game, you are gonna die a lot. And if you wanna get a perfect score, then you have to beat the level by collecting all of the coins and not dying. So that is a very difficult task, but it is something that a beginner can work themselves up to. They can start off some of the early levels, learn the game, and honestly, you can just replay the first level over and over again until you get that perfect score. And when you finally do, it is very rewarding. I can tell you from experience, because I went through and tried to 100% complete this game, and it was not an easy task. And to this day, I'm still not done because some of the later levels can get very difficult. But like I said, if you're not trying to be perfect like me, a beginner can definitely have a lot of fun with this game. I know Carla definitely had a lot of fun with it. It was one of the few games that engaged her quite a bit. She even invited friends over to play this game, and that was not a great idea because even though this is a very fun, very good game for beginners, it can also destroy friendships because if you play in 2-player mode, each player controls 2 totems, and getting through levels can be, you have to be very specific with how you guys go through the level designs, and you're gonna be dying way more than you would if you're playing by yourself. And man, just talking about it makes me want to do that again, because when we had that game night, we were all in college at the time, and some of our friends were kind of quiet, but man, oh man, did they let out a scream that night when we were playing.
Oh, it's black. Yeah. Okay.
You gotta let me know!
Things up, isn't it? Oh, I hate you so much.
Once. My God, I know. 1, 2, 3. God damn it!
No, you. So trust me when I say you could have a lot of fun with this game, and if you haven't tried it out, I definitely suggest you guys give it a chance, especially if you have a loved one that you want to get into gaming. This is a perfect game for that. And it is pretty cheap as well. I believe I saw it the other day on sale for like $5 or under $5. So yeah, that's gonna be my recommendation. Hope you guys check it out. And if you do, let myubae know how fun it is in the comment section down below. But yeah, thanks again, myubae. On to the next person.
Hey, come back!
Hi there, my name is Marg. Thank you, myubae, for inviting me onto your channel to talk about video games for beginners. My pick would be Animal Crossing New Horizons. This is such a great game for beginners because there is so much to do. Basically, you have your very own deserted island that you can customize and make your own. You get animal neighbors that discover your island and you can interact with them. You have your own house that you can customize as well. You have furniture, you can craft things to go on your island or in your home. You can play by yourself or you can play with friends who also have the game. You can go fishing, you can catch bugs. You can go talk to your villagers and find out what they're up to. You can collect fossils for your museum. There's so much to do and explore and discover. The island actually changes seasons in real time. So right now it's winter on my island because it's winter where I live. There's a lot of events and holidays that happen on your island as well. I feel like there's an infinite amount of gameplay and the controls are easy to use and quick to learn, and I think you'll just have a great time. This is the perfect game to just sit back, relax, unwind from a long day, and hang out somewhere on your deserted island. It is also rated E for everyone, so anyone can play this. I still play this game to this day, even though I've put 400 or 500 hours into this game, and I'm still having a blast. So let me know if you check it out, and happy gaming!
Hey everyone, what up? Kaiser here, and thank you myubae for allowing me to be in this collab. It was an absolute pleasure. With that said, let's talk about a video game for beginners. And, well, let me ask you a thing. Are you interested in the JRPG genre? Do you want something a little bit more cozy in life? and something that doesn't take long to complete. Well, my friend, I've got the game for you, and that is the Telemarie remake. Now, this game is an absolutely wonderful JRPG for beginners alone. Having a relatively short campaign, being around maybe like 6 or to 10 hours depending on your playthrough, but also having a very simple combat turn-based system, so it's easy for newcomers to at least get a hold of and see what the genre is all about. Not only that, but having things like a gathering system as well as the alchemy and crafting system being so simple and easy to learn, I think will be very accessible enough. Not only that, but this game also has both a normal mode and unlimited mode, with the latter of which being able to, complete your whole task throughout a whole deadline without having to, again have a full-on deadline. Or if you want a little bit more challenging, you can have normal mode, which will take you all the way up to like at least 5 years, I believe, until you run out of time. Not only that, but the characters are just absolutely lovable and just so wholesome, and the whole aesthetic with the whole chibi art style just makes everything just so wonderfully cute and cozy, especially with the wonderful soundtrack, and also even having just some funny scenarios, and having a cool new hiring and firing system where you're able to recruit new Prime members so you can switch things up, as well as do lots of requests and tasks. This one is definitely something I highly recommend after playing myself, especially when I'm new to the Atelier series, so I definitely think that this game should be right there on your radar.
Hi everyone, my video game recommendation for a beginner to play in 2024 is Donut County. Donut County is a short, easy, story-filled physics puzzle game. Don't let the physics part of it scare you away. The game is really easy. The length of the game is 2 hours. If you don't want to commit to a long game, then Donut County is for you. It's also a family-friendly game. In Donut County, you play as a raccoon named BK. You can control a hole that collects trash in the game. The hole gets bigger as you engulf more objects all over town. So later in the game, BK overdoes his job and ends up swallowing his friends and himself. They were all pretty upset that they were trapped 999 feet underground. So you have to play the game to find out if they get rescued or not. Donut County is a silly game that you can have a fun time and just chill. The graphics is simple and matches the tasks you do in the game. I absolutely love it.
Hey everybody, my Chris here. You guys can call me Chris. And the game that I picked out is The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I'll put a picture of it here. I don't have the game physically, I only have it digitally. So don't have a cool case for you guys that I can show off. So the reason I picked it out for beginners is sort of three things. Firstly, its puzzles are challenging enough, but they're not too challenging to the point where you need like a guide to look it up. Like they're fairly easy to figure out, and they're fairly simple. The second reason is because the control scheme actually is fairly accessible. So the thing about Skyward Sword is that it came out on the Wii, I believe, in 2011. So Skyward Sword HD is the HD remaster. So you can use the Joy-Cons on the Switch as the controllers, like you used to use the Wii remote and stuff. These are the special edition Joy-Cons that came out when the game actually came out. These are very cool. Glad to have these. But you can also, in a new edition, in the HD version, you can also use just a regular controller, and there's button controls for swinging the sword around and doing all the things in the game. So it's actually quite accessible. You have full range motion controls or button controls if you're more comfortable with those. So you can really just pick either one. And the last and probably most important reason I picked it out for beginners is I really, really like the Zelda franchise. It's one of my favorite of all time. And Skyward Sword is canonically, and in the timeline, like the first game in the series. This is the first one. Everything that happens in the Zelda series technically happens after Skyward Sword. So there's really no like missing out on anything. There's a couple references and stuff, but there's really, you're not going to need to know who characters are or anything like that. So it's a really, really good game, I think, for beginners looking to get into either the Zelda franchise or just like adventure, like third-person adventure games as a whole, you know? So that's my pick, Skyward Sword HD, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.
My choice for a game that would be great for beginners is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I feel like this is a great game for those who may love Zelda, but they're not looking to dive into all the puzzles that come with the game of Zelda. Instead, you're playing as Link, or what's also great, a variety of these characters, including all of these. The story where it's unfolding, and I believe is canon, is very, very interesting. But what makes it great is that as you're following this story, you're basically fighting a bunch of moblins. Probably the hardest part of the game is just deflecting and doing some kind of backflip so that you're not getting hit, and then you can do a lot of slashes to the creatures that you're fighting. That's probably the hardest thing. It's a very fun and engaging characters that allows you to get to know some of the characters from the main line of the new Zelda games, such as Breath of the Wild, where you get to interact with your Bosa and see some of her backstory, and this little cute guardian here. So I would highly recommend this game, especially to those who love Zelda, and even if you're not a fan of Zelda, but you appreciate great storytelling with some engaging graphics and animation, with some simpler fighting methods that, again, nothing too hard. This is one I would highly recommend. It is one of my favorite games and excited to recommend it today.
Hello everyone, Thetrueopinionist here, or Alexander as some of you might know. So I'm doing this collab with myubae. We're talking about video games that we think would be easy to get newcomers into the video game world. The game I chose was Danganronpa V3. The reason why I chose this is, one, there are 4 games in the franchise. There's Danganronpa 1, Danganronpa 2, Danganronpa Despair Girls, and then Danganronpa V3. And I chose V3 because, one, it was my introduction to the video game version of Danganronpa. I got into the series with the anime and a friend telling me about it in high school. But yeah, my experience with it, video game wise, was Danganronpa V3. It takes place in its own universe, which is nice. It's not connected to V1 it's not connected to Danganronpa 1 or 2. So you don't need to know the lore for those games to enjoy or understand what V3 is. It might help you enjoy V3 more, but you don't need to know it. Danganronpa V3 is a visual novel, and the whole premise of the game is there's a bear that traps these kids in a school, or like a sanctuary, I should say, some type of place where they live. And the bear sets out to put these kids on a killing game. The game is a little bit dark, but if you're into dark fantasy stories, or you don't mind a little bit of violence, then this game might be for you. If you like being a detective and figuring out murder mysteries, this game also is probably for you. That was the big draw for me. I love things like dark stories. I love murder mysteries. So when you do class trials, that's the whole gameplay besides the visual novel aspect. It's figuring out who did what, how did the murderer get away with this, what they did, and then by the end of the trial, you see them get caught and executed. But it's a really fun game. It's lighthearted, but it's also dark. It does a good job at balancing comedy. And honestly, I think it's a really good starting point to get into this series. That's how I got into it. And then years later, I bought Danganronpa 1 and 2, as well as Ultra Despair Girls. But it's a fun little series, and the characters are all really interesting. Depending on the type of person you are, you might come to love some of them, or you might come to hate some of them. I think the characters in Danganronpa are very endearing, There are like a few that I hate throughout each game, but for the most part, I love the characters' designs. I love how colorful the game is, and the gameplay is really addicting. It really makes me use my brain, and it makes me have to think on how I want to answer questions that are thrown at me or solve stuff. It's, in a way, kind of like Phoenix Wright's series. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my segment of why I think this is a great game. I hope you enjoyed what you did here. I'm also going to have the intro for Danganronpa V3, just so you can see some of the characters going on. So, yeah. But I really recommend you check out and see what it's all about.
What's up, it's HartlessWeeb. My favorite game is Darkstalkers, but it's Vampire Saviors. So I'm going to show you, and we're having people play arcade, so let's do it. Want to do more again? Whoa!
And that wraps up this video. Thank you to my friends who made this possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!